Good morning. Um, I've got a smile on my face because we taught our organist how to use gifts today or yesterday, and she started responding to things with them, and it's just the most fun thing our staff has done in the last couple of days. And by that I mean, there's just that moment where you get a little bit of entertainment value out of the smallest things right now. And so that just kind of it's got me laughing inside because of course then the other staff all send out a bunch of gifts welcoming her. I said it, welcome to the dark side. We have cookies with a little gift there too, and it was a whole lot of fun. And my phone's buzzing as we speak with their responses still. So if I giggle in the middle of this, it's found a little bit of positivity today. So actually, why don't if you watching this, no matter when you're watching, if you'd post something that's made you smile this week, maybe we can share a little bit of extra joy. Well, today I'm talking about the devotional is about the disciples getting sent out, and so this is kind of the idea of what do we do. What are we supposed to do as followers of God, followers of Christ? So in Luke 9, we have Jesus sending out the 12. And then later on, Jesus sends out, how many is it? 72. So something must have gone right that first time. Anyway, so he says, or Jesus called the 12 together. So this is chapter 9, verse 1. Jesus called the 12 together, and he gave them power and authority over all demons and to heal sicknesses. He sent them out to proclaim God's kingdom and to heal the sick. Okay, so to me, here's the thing. The question is, what are we supposed to do? So yesterday, I kind of talked about the Great Commission, where God says, go, baptize, teach, lead the people. And then here it's kind of like the what, right? As the disciples get sent out, the thing is they're not getting sent out to judge. They're not getting sent out to be jerks. They're not getting sent to prove their holiness. They're not getting sent out to lord over others, their salvation. They're not getting sent out to do a lot of things that sometimes can be construed or labeled or I guess brokenly assumed as a part of evangelism. They're getting sent out to proclaim the good news of God's love and heal the sick. I absolutely love this because it happens again in a couple of chapters where the 72 are sent out. And there he says to them, the harvest is bigger than you can imagine, but the workers are few. Therefore, plead with the Lord of the harvest to send out workers for his harvest. It's once again, the people are sent out. Only this time, whatever had happened the first time had made a huge difference. And so they get sent once again to cast out demons and make a difference in people's lives and share the grace and love. And to me, that's something I think we need to be digging into right now, in the midst of all of this broken space, in the midst of our pain and suffering. How can we be beacons of hope? How can we speak truth and grace and love? Because spreading the gospel is about the good news, and sometimes that gets all funky. And that's me trying to point out a couple different things that always agitate me when people come in and said, "Oh, I had this experience with someone who called himself an evangelist." Or, I once was at a church camp where I was helping kids. And we were walking from one side of the university campus to the other to go to worship, and this guy stops me and asks me if I'm saved, and I said, "Well, yes, I am. My name is Reverend Jacob Cloud," and he would not stop. He just kept going on, and I said, "With all due respect, you're actually slowing us down to get to worship. Isn't that kind of counter to what you're doing?" He just didn't get it. And I know his heart was in the right place, but he was clearly in for whatever reason, he got kind of stuck. Because what he was doing wasn't offering healing. What he was doing wasn't really sharing the good news. What he was doing was really fear-based. And I spent a lot of time as a kid trying to figure out why I was scared of God so much. And I think it was experiences like that where this idea that if this guy feels that we have to be afraid of God to be loved by God, then I should be afraid too. And I think that there's that assumption by plenty of my friends, some of you out there, who that people of faith are, well, to put it frankly, jerks. That's not as frankly as I would put it, but this is a church devotional that I'm doing right here. So saying the other words that are more accurate are not going to happen from me right now. But my point is, there have been so much hate spread in the name of Jesus Christ that at this time, when everybody is hurting, when everybody is suffering in some way or another, whether quietly, whether loudly, all over social media, or wandering and protesting and wherever you are in this space, there's this need for God's love. And that means compassion, and that means grace, and that means hope, and that means acceptance. Because here, Jesus didn't tell the disciples to go out and point out the things that people were screwing up in their lives. He said, share the good news. Teach them about what Jesus had taught, which was pushing back against our racism, etc. Stories like the Good Samaritan are there, exactly that point. He regularly went to the religious places and pointed out to the faithful. He said, here are the places you're messing up, or they brought it up. He regularly invited people to dig into their own garbage and see what they could do to make that better, to find that space of healing or that space of accountability. So I guess as we're looking at this time, there's that possibility and that opportunity to reach out in the midst of this and to be people who are offering life and love. And it really doesn't come in the form of a snarky meme, although, everyone gets a good laugh every once in a while. And it doesn't come in the form of some sense of self-righteousness or posting another Bible verse. Although these things, posting a Bible verse, not bad. I'm not saying that. But what it comes is, if you see someone who's posted something that clearly comes from a sense of pain and suffering or agitation, or sometimes that phone call is what you need to be doing. We need to be reaching out to the people, even if you don't know them well, saying, hey, how goes it with your soul? What's going on? This seems like you're in a rough place right now. And you don't have to have the answers. This is the beautiful thing about the way this works. Active listening, where you are not finding the answers. Most of the time, what we need with one another is to walk alongside each other and admit this sucks. And when we can do that with God and with one another, and we can say, I agree. And if you ever want me to pray with you, I'm there for you. That makes so much more of a difference. If you knew how many times I have had people who didn't believe in God ask or be willing to let me pray with them and thanked me afterwards, and it's not something you have to shove in anyone's throat. And you're not praying for their salvation. Don't be that person. Just ask God to help, to give some peace, to give some hope, to give some rest. So my invitation to you today, reach out to somebody, not with the intention of saving them, not with the intention of making them do what you want, but with the intention of letting them know that you care for them, that you feel that you feel what it is to be in this space right now. And would you be a blessing to someone else? If they need healing, maybe you'd have a chance to be in the midst of that, to walk alongside, to offer hope. If nothing else, sometimes we just need some of that consolation where we know that we're not the only ones in that space. That's my hope today, that we can all do a little bit of that, offering a little bit more of ourselves, a little bit of grace, a little bit of love to people in need. God bless you.